Hello everybody, how's everything going? Hello everybody, woo! I'm so happy to see so many people despite the market not looking so good, you know, going down to 200 billion in terms of market cap. We still have a strong community and a lot of people supporting us, and I'm really, really happy. Who here was shocked recently based on Ethereum's price drop? Who here was shocked? Nobody. Nobody was shocked. The Ice Age, Vitalik being a little pessimistic, ICOs selling Ethereum tokens, affecting the price. Now, this may be quite shocking for many as they're a huge community, but actually in terms of Swissborg, the CHSB token, we also experienced a huge drop. As a matter of fact, Ethereum in its peak compared to the price now dropped 89%. And when we ICO'd earlier this year in January, we ICO'd at the point where the market cap was where it was at 830 billion US dollars. And then we experienced the biggest bubble burst in the crypto space and experienced something very similar. Now I'm gonna be honest with you guys. When I kicked off with Swissborg, knowing that my little brother was the co-founder and worked so hard, I was really emotionally attached to the project. I didn't know if he would succeed or not, to be very honest. But what I did know is, no matter what, I would be there until the last second. I would do my best, my very best, for the love of my brother. But something that's really interesting is recently, I realized only 5 months ago, I've been working with Swissborg for 1 year and 4 months, but I only realized recently that the future is bright. The future is bright, my friends. And it's funny because why did it take me so long to understand? So I have a question for all of you. Is it possible that the word understand is the most misunderstood word in the dictionary? Is it possible? There are many ways of understanding, but do we truly understand? And the funny thing is, we had a hint from the very beginning, from the start. It was there in front of my eyes. I understood the language, but I didn't understand the idea, nor the vision. But it was there. Let me show you.
We feel the urge to merge the off-chain world and the on-chain.
Who knows what this means? Please raise your hand. Off-chain and on-chain worlds. Right? So my brother's message, and this was 2 years ago, was we are going to bridge and take the best of the off-chain and on-chain worlds. And a part of the off-chain world is the traditional banking system, financial markets. We really need to understand, guys, that blockchain is nice, but technologically, it is not a revolution. It's an evolution, perhaps, maybe in the future, but not a revolution. So by taking what has already been built, centuries of markets, for instance, when you talk about blockchain technology, you realize that we talk about transactions per second. Is that correct? One of the main metrics to measure. But in the off-chain world, in the banking world, when you talk about high-frequency trading, you're talking about millionth of a second. Millionth of a second. Not only that, in the off-chain world, when it comes to security, the banks, they have military-grade encryption and military-grade security. Have you heard of a bank that was hacked before? Have you heard of crypto exchanges that have been hacked before? So this message is very simple, guys. Believe it or not, this word only is the reason why our future is bright with Swissborg. And I'm extremely proud of what has happened. And there's a very good example of this in Japan. This. Any Dragon Ball fans here? Oh my god, you guys are so boring. Any Pokemon fans here? Please leave the room. Leave the room. This is the real stuff right here. This is the real stuff. So we understood that we need to take the best of both worlds. And that's what we focused on. So once upon a time, at Swissborg, and actually just 5 months ago, we had a meeting in London where all our board members went and found a team of engineers who used to work in the off-chain world. These guys were creating execution venues for the major stock markets, like the DAX, like the London Stock Exchange, like the CAC 40 in France. And these guys, to be very honest, were not so interested in crypto, believe it or not. They're like, you know, we work with tier 1 banks, crypto, blockchain, yeah. So it's really funny, but even though we had the money to pay these guys, we had to gather all our intelligence. We had to brainstorm with the entire board team. Unbelievable, right? Unbelievable. But this is a huge achievement because when you get financial engineers from the off-chain world and you combine them with our core engineers on the on-chain world, something magical can happen. The future is bright, my friends. The future is bright. So as a result of this meeting, dear Swissborg community members, this is good news for you. On top of our 8 core members, we now have 8 plus 15. We tripled the amount of engineers. We basically tripled our amount of engineers. Now, why would we need so many engineers in a fintech company? Now, this is the interesting part. Let me show you why. So this was up to now. Now, let's look at the future, the door that is brighter, because the future is bright, my friends. We are building what we call the Finance Engine. And the Finance Engine is based out of 2 characteristics. It's quite simple. Number 1, we have an order execution management system that is institutional grade. So this is basically offering you real-time trading. You click a button, the trade is instant. Now, number 2 is a liquidity aggregator, which is basically connecting to different crypto exchanges' APIs. And we'll talk about why this tech is so important. But before we talk about the tech, there's something more important. What are the mass adoption challenges that we will be solving with Swissborg in just 3 to 4 months? Look at this, guys. Who here invests in crypto right now? Please raise your hands. Who has crypto? Great. Who here is kind of interested and hasn't bought crypto yet? Kind of interested. Kyomi ga aru kata ga irashaimasuka ka? There's 2 people like, maybe? So, let me just remind, for all the crypto traders, let me remind you of what you've been through. And for those who are interested, let me show you what you will have to face. So first off, in terms of inefficiency, this is huge. Number 1, you need to connect your bank account to the local exchange. And this is where the fiat currency to crypto happens. You deposit in Japanese yen, for instance, and you'll buy Bitcoin or Ethereum. Next step, you will have to send the Bitcoin and Ethereum to another exchange. And the reason why is because your local exchange will not have access to all crypto, right? And then you have to buy all these cryptos individually. Buy, manage, track, sell individually. But then you realize, oh, there's another cool project, but they don't have it on my exchange. Then we have to go to another exchange. So we already have multiple exchanges to find other crypto assets. And then on top of that, every single buy, sell, these are single orders that need to happen. And then plus you have to create wallets for the projects that you want to keep for the long term. So as you guys can see, if you compare this with the off-chain world, the off-chain world doesn't have this process. In the banking world, only the banks trade on exchanges. We just invest in a mutual fund, an ETF, an index, right? It's super practical. So in the future, this will be the same thing for crypto. Exchanges will only be for the pros at the end of the day. It's going to repeat itself. History will repeat itself. And that's why we need to combine both the off-chain and the on-chain worlds. Now, this is a problem, right? Terrible. Kawaii desu ne. Yeah, that's my favorite part. So what are we going to do with Swissborg? And again, as of Q1, our first version of the app will be available. And everything you saw and that inefficiency will be available from your smartphone. Everything. From buying, to storing, to tracking, to selling, to investing in investment products, all available at the tip of your hands. So that's one extreme problem that we're solving. And let me show you one more, guys. So when we look at the current world of crypto exchanges, here are some issues that we still have on top of that in terms of technology. Right there, we looked at procedures and processes, right? In terms of efficiency. Now it's technology. Number 1, In this world of crypto, we have fragmented exchanges. What that means is some exchanges, as you saw earlier, will list tokens, and other exchanges will list other tokens. So you need multiple exchanges. Number two, we have fragmented assets. Now what this means is the Bitcoin price on one exchange is not the same as the other exchange. So you might not be getting the best price. Number three, low liquidity. As you know, we have a lot of OTC deals just because of the lack of liquidity. So this is a problem as well. Number four, security. I hope no one in this room was affected by Zaif. I really hope you're okay. But I heard that the assets were recovered quite quickly. But as you know, the security in terms of the crypto exchanges is not military-grade technology. It's poorly done because some people in the crypto space, they think it's a revolution. Well, it's not a revolution, it's an evolution. Next part here, fragility. Fragility is even the best exchanges, and I won't name them, they end up freezing sometimes. There's a server crash, and suddenly for 5, 6, 7, 8 hours, you cannot trade. And you might have missed the opportunity to have a great trade in that point. So this is important, and fragility, this has happened even to the top exchanges in the world. So this is a big, big problem because you can lose the chance to make a lot of money. So what are we trying to do with Swissborg? Now let me go back to the financial engine, okay? So we have a smart app, which is the investment app, and this will be connected to the financial engine. So what is the financial engine? To put it very simply, it's a superhighway. It's a superhighway that can facilitate transactions for retail investors with institutional grade technology. So let's say, for instance, you're a small trader, you're on your motorcycle. You want to trade just small trades, you can access our wallet, it will work. But also, if you're a high net worth individual and you have big volume or high trade volumes, you can still use our technology. And the API connectors that we talked about earlier is very simple. So we connect to OpenAPI. And we're already in discussion with some of these exchanges that will give us preferable rates. And why is this so important, guys? Not only we will get you more liquidity than any exchange, because we have access to, we'll start with 3 exchanges, the biggest, to 5, to 10. We count on being connected to 15 API connectors with specific negotiated fixed rates so that we can have even more liquidity than that. But this is beautiful because you have more liquidity, you have more security because your crypto assets won't be locked on a specific exchange. So this is really, you know, when we talk about ETFs or we talk about all these investment solutions, they're not actually the best solution to mass adoption. What it is truly having a phone that can give you access to these investment products. Because with ETFs, you still need a bank account, the unbanked can't reach it, and there are multiple reasons behind that. So by Q1 2019, this app will be out, and we're very, very proud of this progress. And the good thing that's about this whole app and all of the Swissborg products is that they're all connected to the CHSB token, which means that all the fees, in terms of transaction fees, in terms of revenue, will be directly linked to the CHSB token. And the more products we launch, the more revenue we make, the more we'll be able to distribute to the community. So this is something that's really important and will add utilities in the future. The CHSB token. Now, before I end, guys, I want to end on one last note. For those who want more information about our smart wallet that will be released Q1 2019, we will have another small meetup for investors to meet our co-founder. Anthony will be in town from Switzerland, and he will give you all the details of our roadmap. But here, try to keep it simple for everybody. Now, one thing I want to ask you guys. Who remembers the question that I asked you all in the beginning of this presentation? Who remembers? Yes, sir. Yes. On-chain and off-chain worlds. So taking the best of both worlds and not ignoring the past is one key point of this presentation. Now the second one is it possible that the word understand is the most misunderstood of all words in the dictionary? So I have one good news. The Swissborg community, these guys who've been helping our committee, they have understood from the get-go. Even though it took me a long time, I'm maybe not as smart as them, it took me 6 months to truly understand that. but I wanted to give a shout out to all these wonderful people supporting our community because they understand and the future is bright. Thank you very much, everybody.